Welcome friends, welcome back to our Naac lecture series. Myself, Narendra Gawali, IQC counter, SK Gandhi College Kada, Taluka Asst district Bid, Maharashtra. Friends, in last lecture, we have seen the first three criteria of National Assessment Accreditation Council. Now we'll continue in the second lecture, remaining four criteria. We look on to fourth criteria, that is infrastructure and learning resources. It has 100 weightage among the 1000 weightage. That is, it has a 10% weightage. So infrastructure is very important from the academic point of view also. Comparatively, it requires information on how every constituent of the institution, that is student, teacher and staff, benefit from these facilities. How these stakeholders make maximum utilization of these facilities, that is important. Expansion of facilities to meet future development is also included. No, future development, future plans, progression is also depend on this infrastructure and learning resources. There are two aspects, infrastructure and learning resources. What are the learning resources from this infrastructure? So let us look at this chart, friends. Key indicators, as we all know, there are four key indicators in this. First one is 4.1, physical facilities. What are the physical facilities? Like ground, playground, library, laboratories and so on. Then it has 30 weightage. All the four has common weightage. Autonomous college, university, UG college, PG college. Yes? Then second is 4.2, library as learning resources. It has 20 weightage points. Then IT infrastructure, 30 weightage point. And last is maintenance of campus infrastructure. It has 20 weightage point. Overall 100 weightage points. We look one by one. First is 4.1, physical facilities. What are the physical facilities in the institution? The growth of infrastructure thus has to keep pace with the academic development in the institution also. Simultaneously, when academic growth is going on, we have to consider the growth of infrastructure also simultaneously. So the other supportive facilities on the campus are developed to contribute to the effective ambience for curricular, extracurricular and administrative activities. These are other supportive facilities. They should also be compiled to development of this extracurricular, curricular and administrative activities. So a provision of expenditure in the budget is made annually for maintenance. Higher education should make annual provision for budget, for maintenance and replenishment of physical facilities, which will ensure their availability on continual basis. If we have building, central building, library building, ICT halls, seminar halls, track, playground, gymnasium, etc., canteen, all these facilities, they should have provision. The institution should have provision for budget to this, and also maintenance also. Just preparing or building is not sufficient. There should be maintenance policy should also be there. Structure should also be there. Then second one is library as a learning resource. Friends, this is very important. The library is very important key aspect of higher education institution. It has 20 weightage points. It is a knowledge learning resource center, friends. It holds in terms of books, journals and other learning materials. And now we have advanced technology aided learning mechanisms which enable students to acquire information, knowledge and skills required for their study programs. We have advanced facilities also now, implemented software, various software. Then we have automation of library using ILMS software or use of e-journals, books, providing remote access system to e-resource library. It has become a matter of necessity. It has become an essential part in today's scenario. These are also important from library learning knowledge resource center point of view. This point should be considered for library. Then we have IT infrastructure, this is also very important aspect. It has 30 weightage points. IT, information technology infrastructure. The institution should adopt policies and strategies for adequate technology, deployment and maintenance, means classification and maintenance. The institution should have a fixed policy, provision for maintenance and adaptation of this, all this technology, IT technology, computers, PCs, and so on. These facilities and other learning facilities or resources are adequately available in the institution for academic and administrative purpose. They should be easily available to all the stakeholders, especially students and faculty members and administrative staffs. The staff and students should have access to technology and information retrieval on current and relevant issues. All the faculty and students should be able to access to they should also upgrade their knowledge with the present technology. If you want to cope with the universal level, compete with the universal level, international level, we should be able to upgrade our technology regularly. Then the institution should deploy and employ ICT for range of activities. They should conduct various activities like we must have computer ICT based learning, teaching learning process, seminars, ICT based seminars, e-resources, e-content development, PowerPoint, and so on, virtual classroom. This should be in practice. Then we have 4.4, maintenance of campus infrastructure. We all have infrastructure. Now how to make maintenance of this higher education infrastructure? It should have adequate infrastructure is not enough. Just having infrastructure is not enough, but it should be effective in functioning. But regular maintenance should also be there. Periodical maintenance is very essential. The institution should have sufficient resources allocated for regular upkeeping of the infrastructure. Cleaning should be there. Mechanism should be there. There should be an effective mechanism for the upkeeping of the infrastructure facilities and promote the optimum use of the same. For example, we have e-waste management. There should be some policy, maintenance strategy, debt stock, and so on. We should promote optimum use of all these facilities to all the stakeholders. So there should be some policies for maintaining of this campus infrastructure. Yes. Then we come to the fifth criteria, friends. Very important from the point of view students. As we all know, learning is based on student-centric. Without student, it is not possible. So this criteria focus mostly on student support and progression. Student support and progression. What are the supporting facilities for students apart from the academics? The efforts of an institution is to provide necessary assistance to students to enable them to acquire meaningful experiences for learning at the campus and to facilitate their holistic development and progression. This students should have some assistance along with academic. In the campus, they should have various facilities for just not academic development, but it should be a holistic development and progression of student for going at higher level or employment progression. It also looks into students' performance. Yes, very important. It also looks into students' performance, that is outcome, and alumni profiles, and the progression of students to higher education and gaining employment, just like we have placement cells and so on. So if you look at this chart of this fifth criteria, key indicators, student support, 15 marks weightage for PG college, all have same structure. Then student progression, how many students go for higher education from UG to PG, PG to MPhil, MPhil to postdoctorate, doctorate to employment, industry, and so on. Then student participation and activities, how students participate in various sports activities, culture activities, extracurricular activities, debate, competition, so on. They have 45 marks weightage. Then last we have alumni engagement, ex-students. how they are actively engaged. They also have 10 weightage points. So we look at one by one. 5.1 student support. Facilitating mechanism like guidance cell, competitive guidance cells, placement cell, grievance cell, women's grievance cell, earn and learn scheme, welfare measures to support students. Higher education should utilize these supporting measures to students apart from academic progression or development. There should be provision for bridge courses, remedial courses, value-added courses, relevant areas. Weak students should have remedial coaching. There should be some advanced policy for advanced learners, slow learners. Then institution should have a well-structured, organized guidance, counseling system and mentoring system in their institution. There should be a proper counseling system. Also for not only for male, also for female students also. Students should benefit through scholarships, free ships, and other means should also be identified by higher education. So these are the student supports. How the students are supported apart from academics. Competitive guidance cell is a very important aspect. We have placement cell, how it is actively placing the students for employment. Then there should be mentoring system, counseling system, bridge core, remedial courses. So this should be highlighted by the higher education. Then second 5.2 student progression. How student progress? The institution concern for student progress is to higher studies or employment. There are two progression. One is to higher study, another one is to employment. How? Then the institution provision facilitate vertical movement of student from one level of education to next higher level or toward gainful employment. How means UG to PG, PG to doctorate, doctorate to postdoctorate, or employment, or through placement, or civil services, or defense services, whatever. So how they are progress gaining employment. All the higher education should, it is duty of IQC coordinator and all the member and team of the institution to track the student progress. When however old that student might be from the institution, they should be able to track the record of student progress. How, if he has gone to which institution of higher education, they should maintain the record of these students. So then also student qualifying for state, national, international level exams or competitive guidance exams, they should be identified by the higher education. How many students go for pass this slate net exam also, gate exam, how many students are placed, how many students go for employment, how many students qualify other banking exam or whichever IAS exam or UPSC exam and so on. So this is important aspect of student progress which has 25 weightage. Then student participation and activities. What is participation of students in various activities apart from academic? It has 45 weightage points. The institution promote value-based education for inculcating social responsibility and good citizenship amongst its students and community. Yeah, the main aim of this higher education is to provide student with value-based education, including social responsibility, make a student civilized, good citizen of a country, good of student community. So for that, the students should be motivated to participate in various activities, encouraging students to participate in activities like various skill development activities, competencies, which will foster holistic development. It might be in cultural activities also, it might be in sports activity at state level, national level or international level to make the student holistic development and this competence. Yes, this is this point. Then we come to 5.4, last aspect of this criteria, alumni engagement. Just establishing alumni is not important. It should be an active registered alumni association. There must be an active registered alumni association. Various meetings should be conducted regularly as per requirement. They can contribute in academic matters also. The alumni association can contribute in academic matters also. They can support students also they can contribute financially also, to generate resources, both financially and non-financially. So active engagement of alumni is also very essential from the point of view of student support and progression. It has 10% weightage, 10 marks weightage. Then we come to sixth aspect. It's also very important. Governance, leadership and management. There are three aspects: governance, leadership and management. It has 100 weightage points. It's related to governance, leadership qualities. It deals with administration, policies and strategies. Well, how effective functioning of an institution can be measured by the policies and practices. It has evolved in the matter of planning, how it is planned, how there is academic planning or administrative planning or vision, mission statements highlighted, how it is resources are applicable, utilized, recruitment, how is the recruitment facilities, transparent, training facilities, performance of all stakeholders, appraisal, and financial management, and the overall role of leadership. This criteria focus mostly on leadership qualities, governance, leadership and management. If you look at this chart flow of the marks, there is 10 aspects to institutional vision and leadership. All have the same criteria, same marks weightage. Strategy, development and deployment 10, 6.3 faculty empowerment strategies 30 weightage. Then financial management 20 weightage. Then internal quality, it has 30 weightage. These are 5 aspects, key indicators we call it. We look one by one. 6.1 institutional vision and leadership. It has 10 weightage point. There must be an effective leadership by setting values and participative decision making process, which is the key aspects of this to achieve vision, mission and goal of the institution. Essential effective leadership qualities are very important. We should set an example to all the stakeholders. It should also be able to coordinate the academic and administrative planning. There must be academic and administrative planning, academic calendar, and implementation also, which reflects the institution's efforts in achieving its vision. This should be implementation should reflect the vision statement of the institution. These are the qualities of leadership which reflect this all aspects of planning and administration. It has 10 weightage points. Then, what is the strategy, development and deployment? 6.2, 10 weightage point. The leadership provide clear vision and mission of the institution. Leadership provide the clear vision, mission of the institution. Its functions of the institution is academic and administrative point of view, which are governed by the principles of participation and transparency. It should be transparent. All the policies, decision making, which we have CDC or local management or management counseling, whatever decision, it should be transparent. All stakeholders should be taken into consideration. There should be formulation of development objectives also, directive and guidelines with specific plans for implementation. There must be some specific guidelines, some code of conduct for implementing the policies and strategies of the institution for the development and progress of the institution and also implementation. Then we come to 6.3 faculty empowerment strategies. It's also important aspect. It has 30 weightage point. Faculty empowerment strategies. What are the strategies for empowerment of faculties? Which includes right from recruitment process. How the process is it should be transparent process. Performance appraisal of faculty. Planning professional development programs. We have FDP, faculty development programs. We regularly conduct these programs. What are the programs conducted for faculty improvement development? Also for administrative staff also. Not only faculty, but also administrative staffs. And seeking appropriate feedback, analysis and responses. It's very important, feedback. Seeking appropriate feedback, analysis of response. Also action taken of this feedback system. Then upgrade the professional competence of the staff. Yes, very important. We have to cope with the time. Time to time, just like we have upgradation of instrument also, we must upgrade our faculty member, our human resource also from time to time, professionally, to make this develop with the with the global, we cope with the global competition. Yeah. Then next one is 6.4. Yes. Next one is financial management and resource mobilization. Financial management and resource mobilization. 20-point aspect. Very important. Financial management. How finance is managed and resource utilized. Budgeting and optimum utilization of finance is very important. Resource. Budgeting, optimum utilization of finance. Well planned finance we should have in the beginning of the academic year. Planning, budget allocation to various departments and all faculties. There must be an established procedure and process for planning and allocation of financial resources. There should also be a process, established process and planning system for allocation of budget to each and every department or faculty. Then there must be develop strategies for mobilizing resources and ensure transparency. Very important. Mobilizing resources and ensure transparency in financial management of the institution. As we all know, the transparency is through this internal and external audit system to regularize the internal external audit system. Through this we can have this effective optimum utilization of the resources and finance and policy. Yes. Then next comes, last point comes 6.5, internal quality assurance system, IQAS. It has 30 weightage point. As we all know, is continuous improvement of quality is very important. The core vision of Naac itself is quality is sustainable. Quest for quality. Quality is important. For improvement of quality and achieving academic excellence. Achieving academic excellence. The institution has an IQAC body. It is apex body, internal quality assurance cell, which takes the apex decision and adopts a participatory approach in managing its provision. It plays an important role for motivating or supporting the administrative process. So these are the 6 criteria point. Then we come to the last criteria, that is criteria 7, institutional values and best practice. It has 100 weightage point from 1000. That is, this means 10% weightage overall. Institutional best values and best practices. In order to be relevant in changing national and global context, an educational institution has to be responsive to the emerging challenges and pressing issues. We have to face various challenges accordingly, not only academic, social challenges, there are environmental challenges also we are facing, as we all are familiar with. So we have to be ready for this situation, or it might be disaster management, any facilities, we have to be ready for that. Every institution has a mandate to be responsive to at least a few pressing issues such as gender equity. Yes, all must be aware of this. Gender equity. Environmental consciousness, very important. We have various environment changing, global climate change everywhere. We see various very disaster management everywhere we can see. So we must be aware of this. All stakeholders should be aware of this environmental consciousness, gender equity and sustainability. There should be inclusiveness and professional ethics. These are the institutional values and we have to highlight in this criteria. Then if you look at this chart diagram, the points, it has there are 3 aspects: institutional values and social responsibility. It has 50 weightage. Then 7.2 best practices, 30 weightage. Then last, institutional distinctiveness, 20 weightage point. Overall 100 weightage points. Then we look one by one. 7.1, see 7.1, institutional values and social responsibilities. Institutional values and social responsibilities. It has 50% weightage, very important. The institution organize gender equity programs, promotion programs. Institution should organize gender equity programs, like women empowerment programs. Various gender awareness programs should be organized by the institution. The institution should also display sensitivity to issues like cross-cutting issues like climate change and environmental issues. Climate change and environmental issues. climate change and environment issues. Then it should adopt environmental friendly practices, just like eco-friendly, pollution-free campus, plastic-free campus, and so on. The institution should take necessary actions such as energy conservation, rainwater harvesting, water recycling, solid liquid waste management, e-waste management, carbon neutral green practices, etc. The institution should take initiative to conduct or make aware of these issues, social issues or equity issues. These should highlight this, or they must conduct various programs. The institution should also facilitate the differently able and Divanjan friendliness. This is also very important aspect. They should have some facilities for this disabled students also. These are have very important 50% marks of this whole criteria is to this 7.1. Then next one comes 7.2, best practices. It has 30 weightage point. What do we mean by best? Best we all know, but what do we mean by best practices? Any practice that institution has internally evolved and used during the last few years, leading to positive impact on the regular functioning of the institution, can be identified as best practice. It can be any practices. It could be in respect of teaching, learning. It might be of office practices. It might be of environmental practices. It might be of community practices. It might be of curriculum practices. It might be of library resource knowledge practices. It might be dealing with maintenance, or it might be dealing with human beings, or it might be of money matters also. Any practice which has internally evolved during last few years, leading to positive impact on the not only of institution and all the community, this can be identified as a best practice. So they are relevant within the institutional context and may pertain to either academic or administrative or organizational aspects of institutional functioning. This practice must have impact not only to institution but should have impact on society also. Community, it should be community oriented. It should be community oriented activity, or if agriculture oriented activity or gender oriented activity. This practice is called as best practice. There is a certain format given in this manual of Naac. We have to follow this according to that format. What are the hurdles for that practice? What are the outcomes? Number of beneficiaries, title of the best practice, and so on. This format everybody has to do according to that format. So this is the best practice format. It has 30 weightage point. Then last point comes is 7.3, institutional distinctiveness. It has 20 points weightage. Institutional distinctiveness. What do you mean by this? Every institution would be like to be recognized for certain of its attributes which make it distinct, different or distinct, or one of its kind. It should have certain features that we should be known, identified. How this college has this feature, distinctiveness feature. Such attributes, characteristics should be reflected in all this activity. This should be reflected in this activity in focus and practice regularly. So everyone is special, as we all know. Every institution has some special qualities also. We have to highlight, we have to focus each and every higher education. The coordinator should take into consideration which aspect they can highlight of their institution so that it is a distinctive, it gets more weightage and it is highlighted not only to institution, to community. So that point we can take into this distinctiveness. With this, we conclude this 7 criteria. I hope you understood. If you have any comments, you can put in the chat box. And for details, you can visit the Naac manual website also. Thank you, friends.